Well, for this little review, I'm taking a break from superheroes and shows in outer space. And going to take a look at this series. Now, this started, I was on a panel on Polly's channel, Latino Slant, and we were talking about Hollywood and stuff, and the show upcoming, looking at a trailer for Being the Ricardos, about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz and all that stuff. And so he wanted to show the panel this series, he showed us the whole series. There's 3 seasons. No, but he showed a recent trailer for the upcoming season and whatnot, and the basics of the series. So the series is Narcos Mexico, or Narcos Mexico, and I believe that looking into it, that this was actually something of a spinoff from another series called Narcos, and but this one delves into the actual history somewhat of the drug war and its origins all the way back to the early 80s and so on, and all up into the current era, apparently, or trying to, because apparently it's not going to be able to continue as was the original plan, which is unfortunate. Just based on seeing the first episode, because of my OCD, I can't just jump into the current season. I gotta start at the beginning. And so it's going to take me a while to get through it all. And I'm thinking I'll approach this similarly to how I do the Blake 7 series, where I do 2 episodes per review. And I think that might help my little schedule here. But to begin, I just did the first episode. And true to what Polly had described about each episode is like a movie in and of itself. And that's the aspect of when we had this renaissance of television for a while. It kind of fizzled, and other shows appeared to be that, and then it was kind of a bait and switch. But you can go back with Sopranos on forward, and there were quite a few that, at least even the ones that didn't achieve that level, they were trying. And this show appears to be the same thing here. And its idea that, the renaissance of television was such that television was out doing movies, it was really good. And that appears to be the case here. It's beautifully shot. The performances are very strong. And also an interesting way of weaving in and out of actual, footage of the era and all that sort of stuff. And somewhat making you feel like you're really there. It's not an easy thing to do. But basically, it's it's the drug war, and this is giving you a notice of how things progressed beyond from what it originally was, as far as the illegal drug business, primarily marijuana, and what was going on. So you basically had this sense here of 2 men that we're looking at, and of course, it gives you the preface, if you will, of telling you, yes, this is based on historical events, but for artistic license. And in some instances, you can kind of tell who's to say? But there's a scene where the 2 actually pass each other in the street as they're both arriving to Guadalajara in here in this setting, and boy, did it really happen that way. Well, it could have, but and the way it's shot, and maybe they're not even really saying it, but what have you. But there's going to be stuff like that, and of course private conversations between the people and their wives and all this sort of thing. Well, that's a lot of guesswork and whatnot. But point B to point D or what have you, and all in between is you stick to basically what you can go by as to what the events were. And so you've got some small-time operations, and you got big-time operations. And you've the small-time ones are the ones who get targeted by the Mexican government, who are trying to impress their American sponsors, who would say, hey, we want action on this drug business. So they go down there and burn all the fields and everything, and shake up everybody around. And then we have this guy who is a police officer, but he's been in the business his whole life. Everybody's corrupt, apparently. But this is the character who's played by Cassian Andor from Rogue One. But here Diego Luna is playing character of Felix, and this is the guy who's burning with ambition and sees opportunity. He says it. Look, we got beaten down, but this is his plan he's got in mind about where they can go. And so and the idea is the mirror of between the two men here. You have Felix and then Kiki, and both of them are burning with ambition to get out of where they are. Kiki wants to rise in law enforcement, and Felix wants to rise in crime, and literally says, I want to build an empire at the end. And he's underestimated, which is to his advantage. None of them take him seriously too much. He goes to the boss of his area and says, hey, we got to move to Guadalajara. They can't burn down the fields there. There's too many elites and whatnot. They don't want that kind of action, and so it never happens there. They go pick on the little countrysides and stuff. People living in the sticks, And basically for the show, see, we did some stuff. Come on, America, get off our back. And that's how that works. So he understands all this, but it turns out, and boy, I wasn't following. I can't remember if he actually is his brother. He says he is. His kids refer to him as their uncle. But he's this guy. And then here's where I'm getting to this, where similarities with Breaking Bad. And of course, one of these things, they're both about the drug industry and so on and so forth. But it does get pretty close in the case of Felix wanting to build an empire. He's getting close to, Walter White and Heisenberg and all of that sort of stuff. But it's also very different. He's not Walter White. Yes, he was a police officer, but he was always on the take and stuff, and that sort of thing. So it's one of those things, like I said, they both have drugs in them. They both have guns in them. But, what are you supposed to do? So the idea is that it's not a ripoff of it in that sense. But I suppose one would say it. But then again, based on real life events where Breaking Bad is completely fictional. So, who made who, and that sort of thing. But the first episode called Camelot, and that's what it's referring to. Both men are trying to build something of it. Kiki wants to, like I said, he's rising within law enforcement and is looking for challenges, and he wants to take down the big take and everything. And of course, in real life, and I'm, no doubt it'd be here too, his terrible fate that he suffers will be his unfortunate end. Whereas Felix, of course, is on the same path as far as trying to grow. Not the same path, the opposite of it. But they're both wanting to rise in prominence and whatnot. The things that bring me in, it's just the basics of plot and stuff is not enough to intrigue me or interest me. And the photography is beautiful and all this sort of thing. The women are very beautiful. But it's interesting little, quirky characters and this sort of thing, and there's a charm to it. And that's primarily on the scenes with Felix when he's going into the big Guadalajara operation. And right off the bat, he has to go through this lieutenant, and he does all this, and the guy that he's with, who's the only one who can get him the meeting, and he just doesn't believe in him at all, and he's, oh my God, you're just dooming yourself, and you stupid idiot, and all this sort of thing. And then this guy in this ridiculous outfit with this idiot haircut. And I don't know, was the guy the real dude? Did he look like that? Maybe so. It's just like he's in a position. He's got power in the town. He'll wear whatever he wants. But he looked like a Dick Tracy character. And so he comes in, he mocks Felix, and Felix presents his plan about we'll go 50-50. Of course, the guy's pissed off at this and tells him to go away. And so then Felix kills the man. Just shoots him right there. Now, this is the high risk and how far he was willing to go for his plan. It was the only way he was going to get all the way to the boss. So this guy has a brother who's also a lieutenant in the operation. And he gets to the boss, who is apparently a federal agent within Guadalajara from Mexico and a client of the CIA. So there you go. Pretty big dude. And oh, look, he's the real kingpin of the operation. But another similarity with Breaking Bad. However, this is based on reality because the pot of the old days is not the pot of today. And boy, where did it start? So that's the deal with this guy's brother. He's developed a pure farm, without all the nasty seeds in it and everything. And that's what saves his ass, and that's what he's convinced. It was this or nothing. There was nothing else to go for, so he bet everything on this, and it pays off. And he presents it to the real boss, and he's immediately impressed with what he sees. And so he just wipes out the brother. He's going to be a problem. Hey, this works better. So the guy has now got his foot in the door. Little does he know that Felix is intent on taking it all. And with his ambition and his genius, might just do it. So some of these plot points, yes, are similar to the plot points of Breaking Bad. And certainly in the case of the purified drug, but then again, this is based on reality, and so again, who made who? Breaking Bad could have been influenced by that idea. Is that your product's better? That gets you further along. And of course, with Gus Fring and his initial push to rise within the cartels and whatnot, it's kind of a similar thing. It didn't go as well for him as it does for Felix here. But there you are. So it's a genre, if you will. Call it the crime genre, of course, but the drug war genre as it goes. So this is detailing a history of the drug war, which is one of these things where it becomes this political statement of I'm going to get tough on drugs. Well, and then people make fun of Nancy Reagan's just say no thing, but that's pretty much all you could do. It's, it always comes to the demand. If the demand's not there, well, the cartels dry up. I mean, they do something else, but anyway, that's there. And I'm sure they'll go into all the different theories. Some are true, some are exaggerated, and I'll go through that as we go. And some are just spot on, and it's filthy and dirty and nasty. What do you expect? And some amount of heroes, but a lot of villains. Through the drug war. So, so far so good. I've only seen the first episode, and very well performed, very good. And Michael Pena's in it, and he's almost kind of doing the serious deal when he's telling his story at one scene where it's very similar to, well, I gotta say it, his Ant-Man character. But, he's far more serious here and does very well. He's very believable, and he's this ambitious young man. His relationship with his wife, you get brief scenes of it, and his family and whatnot, but it's all very credibly done. And the same is true with Diego Luna's performance here. So, yes, we will see more reviews from me on Narcos Mexico. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh my goodness, so many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.